Let me ask you something honest. If someone handed you $10,000 right now, no strings attached, just free money, what would you do with it? Most people, if they're being truly honest, already know the answer. And it's probably not invest it wisely. It's more like a new phone, maybe a vacation, pay off that one credit card, and then somehow still end up with nothing left over 3 months later. And here's the thing. That's not a money problem. That's a you problem. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean it in the most important way possible. Because once you understand what's actually going on, everything about your financial life starts to make sense.
The reason most people don't become wealthy has almost nothing to do with income. It has nothing to do with the economy or bad luck or not knowing the right investments. The real reason is something much closer to home, something you do every single day without even realizing it. And today, we're going to talk about it honestly. Here's a story you might recognize. Meet Zane. Zane is 27 years old. He has a decent job, makes enough money to live comfortably, and every single month he tells himself the same thing. This month, I'm going to start saving. But then the month starts. There's a dinner with friends, then a sale on something he's been wanting, then a small emergency, then another dinner, and by the time the 28th rolls around, there's maybe $40 left in his account, which he convinces himself doesn't really count as savings anyway, so why bother?
Sound familiar? Now, here's what most financial advice will tell Zane. Make a budget. Cut your coffee. Stop eating out. Track every expense. And sure, those things aren't wrong, but they're also missing the entire point. Because Zane doesn't have a spending problem, Zane has a thinking problem. And specifically, Zane has fallen into one of the most invisible and most dangerous traps in personal finance. It's called lifestyle creep, but it runs so much deeper than people think.
Let's start from the beginning. When you're young and just starting out, you learn to live on a certain amount of money. Maybe it's tight. Maybe you're eating instant noodles and splitting rent with 3 other people. But you figure it out. You survive. You adapt. Then something good happens. You get a raise, or a better job, or a side income kicks in. Suddenly, there's more money coming in. And your brain does something completely automatic. It upgrades your life to match.
Bigger apartment, nicer car, better restaurants, more subscriptions, slightly more expensive versions of everything you used to buy cheaply. None of these feel like big decisions. That's the sneaky part. You're not sitting down and saying, I've decided to become a person who spends more money. It just happens, gradually, naturally, and almost completely invisibly. And here's the psychology behind it, because this is where it gets fascinating. Human beings are wired for something called hedonic adaptation. It's the brain's way of returning to a baseline level of satisfaction no matter what happens to you. Win $1 million? Within a year, your happiness levels return to roughly where they were before. Get a pay raise? Within months, that new salary feels completely normal and you want more. Your brain is essentially a happiness thermostat. It always resets. So what happens when your income goes up? Your expectations go up with it, and your spending follows the expectations. And your savings? They stay exactly the same, because the new money got eaten before it ever had a chance to become wealth. Think of it like this. Imagine your income is water flowing into a bucket. Now, imagine there's a hole in the bottom of the bucket. The bigger the hole, the faster the water flows out. Most people, when they start earning more, don't plug the hole. They just get more water flowing in, and they're surprised when the bucket never fills up. Lifestyle creep is that hole, and almost nobody talks about it this honestly. Now here's the part where we go a little deeper, because lifestyle creep is just the surface. The real reason it happens, the psychological root underneath it, is something called social comparison. We are social creatures. We've been wired for thousands of years to pay attention to where we stand relative to the people around us. And in the modern world, that instinct gets hijacked constantly. Your colleague just bought a new car. Your friend from university just posted pictures of a holiday in Europe. Your neighbor is renovating their kitchen. And somewhere in your brain, a quiet little voice whispers, "Am I falling behind?" You don't consciously decide to spend more, but you feel a vague pull toward keeping pace, toward not looking like you're doing worse than the people in your circle. And so you spend in ways that signal success, comfort, and belonging, even when it costs you actual financial progress. Here's the brutal truth. Most of what we spend money on isn't for us. It's for the version of ourselves we want other people to see. The fancy restaurant isn't just about the food. The new car isn't just about getting from point A to point B. The designer item isn't just about quality. These are signals, and signals are expensive. Morgan Housel, one of the best writers on money psychology, put it perfectly when he said that people buy expensive things hoping others will admire them, but mostly people are too focused on themselves to notice. You're paying a premium for attention that isn't really there, and meanwhile, the people who actually build wealth, they tend to do something that looks almost boring from the outside. They keep their lifestyle relatively stable even as their income grows. They let the gap between what they earn and what they spend get wider over time, and they quietly pour that gap into things that build wealth in the background: investments, assets, ownership. That gap has a name. It's called the savings rate. And research consistently shows that your savings rate, not your income, not your investment returns, is the single most powerful predictor of whether you will actually become wealthy over time. A person earning $50,000 a year and saving 30% of it will build more wealth over a decade than a person earning $150,000 and saving 5%. The numbers don't lie, even when our feelings do. So what do you actually do with this? First, stop waiting for a bigger income to solve the problem. It won't. If you can't save on what you make today, a raise won't fix that. The hole just gets bigger. The first move is to understand that saving is a behavior, not a leftover. It's not what's left after you spend, it's what you decide to keep before spending begins. This is why the oldest rule in personal finance still works. Pay yourself first. Before rent, before groceries, before anything, a fixed amount goes directly toward your future. You automate it, you don't see it, and you learn to live without it. Your lifestyle adjusts downward slightly. Your wealth adjusts upward permanently. Second, every time your income increases, make a rule for yourself, a real conscious rule. Something like, for every extra $100 I earn, 50 goes to investments and 50 goes to life. This way, your lifestyle still improves, just not at the same speed as your income. The gap keeps widening. Wealth keeps building.
Third, and this one is about the psychology. Start getting honest about why you're spending on specific things. Not to judge yourself, but to understand yourself. Is this purchase about genuine enjoyment? Or is it about signaling something to someone? Is it about filling a feeling? Because money spent on appearances and temporary emotional relief is money that leaves your life permanently. Money invested quietly keeps working for you without anyone ever knowing. The wealthy don't necessarily look wealthy. That's not an accident, it's a strategy. And fourth, this is important. Don't aim for deprivation. That's not sustainable, and it's not the point. The point is intentionality. Spend on the things that genuinely add value and meaning to your life. Cut ruthlessly on the things that are just noise. There's a massive difference between enjoying a meal that truly matters to you and spending the same amount on 10 meals that were just convenient and forgettable. Wealth is built in the space between earning and spending. Your job is to protect that space.
Here's where I want to leave you. Imagine two versions of yourself 10 years from now. Both started with the same income, both lived in similar places, worked similar jobs, but one of them, quietly, consistently, made one different decision. They refused to let their spending grow as fast as their income. Not dramatically, not painfully, just intentionally.
After 10 years, the difference isn't small. It's the kind of difference that changes what your life looks like. One version has options to change careers, to retire early, to weather a crisis without panic, to give generously. The other version is still wondering where the money went. The gap between those two versions isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not even knowledge, because you already know more than enough to get started. It's behavior. It's the daily invisible choices that feel insignificant in the moment, but compound into something massive over time. You are not becoming rich, not yet, because your lifestyle has been silently keeping pace with your income. And now you know that. And knowing it, truly knowing it, and sitting with the honesty of it is the first step toward actually doing something different. The question isn't whether you can afford to save. The question is whether you can afford not to. Think about that.
If this made you think differently about money, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more honest conversations about wealth and how the mind actually works with money, you know where to find us.